It says, verse 41 says that Jesus was moved with compassion. And then he stretched out his hand and touched him and said to him, I do, be made clean. Let me point out two things right here. One, the reality that Jesus allows a leper to even come to him. It suggests that Jesus is approachable. Yeah, because we live in a time of celebrity Christianity now. It ain't just the pulpit. Sometimes it's in the pew. And folks have just, God has given them such an anointing. Can't nobody tell them nothing. You can't even talk to them. Don't you ever forget where you come from now. I don't care if it's an anointing within the church or beyond the church. Don't ever forget where God has brought you from. How many folks remember where God has brought you from? And the truth be told, thank God that God has anointed us in spite of us. Because some of us, if we tell the truth, our lives have been ratchet. The young folk know what ratchet means. But he has used us in spite of us. And if Jesus is approachable, we ought to be approachable as well. But it says he was moved with compassion. See, the difference between compassion and sympathy is this. Sympathy has a timetable on it. You remember when someone had loss or you had loss in your family? For about 2 to 3 good weeks, you didn't have to worry about what you ate. Chicken, pies, bread. 2, 3 good weeks. Cards were coming. Sometimes they had a few dollars in it. Phone kept ringing. But about 2, 3 weeks later, how many folk know it stopped? Folks went back to their lives. Not because they were mean-spirited. It's just sympathy has a timetable on it. Compassion does not. Compassion gets inside of somebody else's experience and tries to fill it with their feelings, see it through their eyes, and experience it through their experiences. And see, this is what Jesus does. He gets inside of this man's situation and he sees it through his perspective. And saints, when you are truly committed to service, committed to ministry, you will identify with the journey of other people. Let me tell you something. When you identify with somebody else's journey, instead of judging them, you'll come out asking, Lord, what if it was me? And saints, how many folks know sometimes it might not be you then, but how many folks have experienced that it was you later? And the compassion that you show to somebody else will be the same compassion that somebody else shows to you. I told them this morning, I know for a fact that many of the blessings that I got when I was not in the state of Tennessee, it was because my own mama and daddy were compassionate to somebody else's children. How many folk know what I'm talking about? They paid for other folk children to go on field trip. They helped feed and clothe somebody else's children, so that when I was not here in Nashville, the compassion that they showed to other folk children, somebody else showed to me when I was up in Massachusetts. Sometimes your compassionate seed that you're planting right now, you may not reap it in your timetable, but your children will reap it. Your grandchildren will reap it. Your great, how many folk know what and sometimes you've got to plant the seed and know that the harvest will be reaped. But plant a seed of compassion. How many folk saw Empire this week? Anybody see Empire this week? Now, y'all know I got to be stretching to use Empire in a sermon. Amen. But I just happened to watch. Just happened. I don't watch it. I happen. Amen. Amen. I watch Jesus and Bishop Jakes. Amen. But I happened to watch the Empire replay yesterday, and there's a scene from this week where Cookie goes to visit one of the former prisoners who is now struggling with cancer. But you can see compassion all in that particular scene, because I think the lady's name was Pound Cake. And she said, y'all know I had to be watching Empire. You know that's a jail name right there. Amen. But she told her she's dying and she can't find her daughter. And as an act of compassion, Cookie says, I'm going to find your child and I'm going to bring her to you. Because, see, let me tell you something. Parents who've had situations with their children that hurt them, oh, you can empathize when there's I don't care how bad your child has been, that's your baby. How many folk know what I'm talking about? Oh, Lord. They done worked your last $2 nerve. But they bet nobody say nothing about your baby. Am I talking right, Mother Saab? They better not say nothing about Ronald and Mike. You'll get them, won't you? Amen. Anybody who suffered loss, it don't even have to be your mama, your daddy. But when you hear somebody has lost a parent, how many folk know the compassion in you? Saints of God, the compassion that you show somebody else has a way of coming back up in your life.